Bro, I have been waiting a day and a half to unleash this rant. This literally ruined my Thanksgiving, man. Picture this. I'm chilling with my family, watching some run-of-the-mill action movie, minding my business in the middle of a food coma, and then my nephew walks into the living room with a concerning look. He tells me, the Paramount Plus card has been announced, and the main event for UFC 325 dropped at the same time. Most people would think that's some good news, but the look on his face concerned me. Then I checked my phone. The level of rage I felt in that moment was universe ending. And to make it worse, I didn't even have my setup. I couldn't record my reaction, I couldn't rant, I couldn't yell into the mic like an uncivilized man. And then the next day, I had to work the entire day. So I'm just sitting there letting all these thoughts marinate in my head. But today is the day. The rant is finally happening. Before I drop the meteor level rant on the two fights that triggered this entire meltdown, we gotta go through all the fights first. I'll save the two outrage-inducing disasters for the very end. Let me say this up front though. There will be no Ilia Topuria slander coming from me today. I actually feel for the dude right now. I know a couple men in similar situations, and look, when a man is going through a divorce or a child custody battle, that's when he needs support the most. Because the truth is, one day it might be us, and the court system ain't gonna save us. So it's on us, fellow men, to show support when one of us is going through it. So I wish Ilia and his family well, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. When he's ready to come back, then the criticism will come back. But today, we focus on the card. First fight I want to talk about is Umar Nurmagomedov versus Deiveson Figueiredo. And let me say this right now. I'm genuinely happy to see Umar taking another fight instead of sitting around waiting for a title shot. And that's actually what I didn't think he would do. I thought he was going to pull a Movsar Evloev. But this is the right move. Because staying active is what's going to sharpen his tools for the inevitable rematch with Merab. And like it or not, Umar is the most capable fighter of dethroning Merab. Let's keep it real. When they fought, Umar won the early rounds. His skill set is arguably cleaner striking, better wrestling, more variety of weapons, but Merab's gas tank is just not human. Almost every opponent Merab has faced has had better skills on paper, but it doesn't matter. If you can't match that cardio, those skills won't exist anymore. So Umar staying active, getting that pace, that timing, that cardio sharpened, that's what's going to help him crack the puzzle that is Merab. Now for Figgy, I like Figgy. I really do. But this move to bantamweight feels too late. I don't know, I might be the only one. But just like Jose Aldo and Frankie Edgar dropped to bantamweight too late, I feel like Figgy moved up to bantamweight too late. If he had made that jump years earlier, he probably could have fought for the belt and even won one. But now, he's older, he's in the Shark Tank, and the top of the division is stacked with killers. We're talking Umar, Sanhagen, O'Malley, Piotr Jan, Merab holding the mountain hostage. It's tough. I'm glad he's still competitive, still hanging with the top guys, but I don't see him fighting for the bantamweight title in this era. So overall, I'm happy Umar is staying active. I think this is the perfect fight for him development-wise. And yeah, I do believe he beats Figgy. Next fight I want to talk about is Alexa Grasso versus Rose Namajunas. I've been seeing this matchup floating around for a while, so it wasn't some huge shock when it finally got announced. And look, it's an alright fight. It makes sense on paper, it's competitive, and stylistically you can argue either woman has a path to victory. But based on how Grasso has been looking in her recent performances, yeah, I can absolutely see Rose winning this one. And yet, to be completely honest with you, I just don't care. There's no hype, there's no stakes that feel exciting, there's no real narrative that I'm emotionally invested in. It's just the fight that exists. I'll watch it, I'll analyze it, but I'm not waking up at 3 a.m. thinking about this matchup. I mean, it's fine, it's cool, but it's not moving me one way or another. Another fight I gotta talk about is Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva. And honestly, this might be the fight of the night right next to O'Malley versus Song Yadong. Arnold Allen is officially back, and you already know he's one of the scrappiest dudes at featherweight. Meanwhile, Gene Silva brings that creative, unpredictable striking that turns every exchange into a highlight reel waiting to happen. A part of me genuinely thought Arnold Allen was going to move up to lightweight, but I guess not. And honestly, lightweight would have been a dangerous move for him. Silva is coming off a loss to Diego Lopes, while Allen is coming off a strong win over Giga Chikadze. This matchup could be the perfect bounce back opportunity for Silva or a momentum builder for Allen. Either way, whoever wins is right back in the title contention. And here's what I think happens next. the winner should fight Yair Rodriguez. Why? Because we need to knock Yair out of the rankings. How is this man number 3 after back-to-back losses to Volk and Brian Ortega? The only win he has is over an unranked Patricio Pitbull making his UFC debut coming from Bellator. Let's be real. This dude should be ranked number 9, sitting between Brian Ortega and Josh Emmett. And listen, as a Hispanic dude myself, I'm telling you right now, we are not Yair Rodriguez fans. Next to John Jones, he's one of the biggest ducks in UFC history. We still haven't forgotten the whole Zabit situation. So yes, get him off the rankings and let the winner of Allen and Silva handle that for us. Moving on, we got our favorite blob, Waldo Cortes-Acosta, returning literally a week later to fight Derrick Lewis. This fight could go either way, honestly. Two dudes with power, anything can happen, but right now I'm leaning Waldo. Why? Because Waldo's confidence is through the roof right now. He's riding the momentum of sleeping Delija and Gaziev, 2 fighters that were ranked. Meanwhile, Derrick Lewis, yeah, he's on a 2-fight win streak as well, but let's be real. Who has he beaten? Fighters who were barely ranked or not even ranked at all. And the bigger issue? Lewis historically struggles against guys with big punching power. The Tuivasa fight is the perfect example. When another heavyweight can crack, Derrick doesn't always survive the firefight. One thing I do know for a fact, this fight is not going to the judges. Somebody is getting laid out. If Waldo wins, he shouldn't fight Volkov. Fuck that. Volkov's fight against Almeida was straight garbage. Nobody wants to see him snipping the title picture right now. Waldo should go straight into a title shot, especially if Tom Aspinall beats Cyril Gane in the rematch. Waldo has already been building the storyline with Tom. That fight sells itself. So yeah, I got Waldo by KO. Then we got this absolute banger announced. Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. This is a fight we've been hearing rumors about forever, and honestly, it lived up to the hype. Yeah, a lot of us wanted Corey Sandhagen versus O'Malley. That's the matchup that's been marinating for years. But if you really think about it, the Song Yadong fight might actually be the setup for an even bigger moment. Because imagine this. Sean O'Malley starches Song Yadong. The crowd goes crazy. He grabs the mic, calls out Corey Sandhagen for the White House card. Bro, I'm telling you right now, WWE should hire me because this is prime booking right here. And the thing is, the fight itself, this is going to be a beautiful display of striking. Both of these guys have some of the fastest, sharpest hands in the entire division. O'Malley has clean accuracy, a sniper jab, counter shots from weird angles, while Song Yadong has explosive combinations, brutal hooks, underrated power, iron durability. This is one of those fights where the first guy to make a mistake is catching a highlight reel moment. Fast pace, high IQ, skilled strikers, everything you want in a bantamweight scrap. And the stakes are easy to understand. If Song Yadong wins, he's fighting for the title next, no questions asked. He already beat elite names, and taking out Sugar would put him right at the front of the line. But that would be after Umar, I'm guessing. Then if Sean O'Malley wins, then there is no other fight to make than the O'Malley and Sandhagen fight. That's the one. That's the fight the division needs, the fans want, and the White House card deserves. So yeah, I can't wait. In the co-main event, we've got the return of the GOAT, Amanda Nuñes, stepping back into the cage against the current 135-pound champion, Kayla Harrison. And let's be honest, this could have easily been the main event. You've got the greatest women's MMA fighter of all time coming out of retirement, and this is for the actual title, not some interim belt. But let's not kid ourselves. Announcing this as the main event would have triggered the MMA community so much, so the UFC put it in the co-main event to keep the peace. Still, this fight is massive. The big question is, who wins? It's genuinely hard to call. Amanda has been out for a while. Kayla's been active. It's momentum versus legacy, champ versus GOAT. But there's one thing people are completely ignoring. Kayla Harrison's weight cut. This is not a regular cut. Kayla has been fighting at 155 for a majority of her career. Now she's dropping to 135 since she signed to the UFC. And even though she's been successful, a weight cut is still a weight cut at the end of the day. And she has said it herself. That weight cut is bad. Real bad. That's not just a cut, that's a lifestyle change, man. And when fighters drain themselves this drastically, that chin is always one of the first things to go. And let's not forget, Kayla has never fought someone with the kind of power Amanda brings. Like, this is not regular power. This is the send you to the Shadow Realm power. If anyone on earth is going to test Kayla Harrison's chin, it's Amanda Nuñes. Skill for skill, Kayla on the ground, obvious advantage, elite grappling, world-class judo base, heavy top pressure. If she gets on top, it's a long night for anyone. But Amanda is so well-rounded. Power, timing, experience, 5-round IQ. and the ability to punish any mistake. You can't shoot sloppy on Amanda, or else you'll wake up asking, where am I? But even with all that said, I gotta sit with this matchup a little longer before I give a final prediction, because there are real variables here. Layoffs, weight cuts, cardio questions, pace, 5-round experience. And let's be real for a second. Women's MMA needs this. After that boring super fight between Valentina Shevchenko and Zhang Weili, somebody has to bring the excitement back. This fight is the one that can do it. And before I get to the main event of UFC 324, I need to talk about the main event of UFC 325. Featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes. Again. Bro, what the actual fuck? I don't even know where to start with this level of nonsense. How did Diego Lopes jump the line? How? I mean, how does Diego Lopes get a title shot over Lerone Murphy, who slept Aaron Pico, and Movsar Evloev, who literally has a win over Diego Lopes and has still never lost? The crazy thing is that both of them are on a 9-fight win streak and undefeated. Yeah, Movsar has been sitting out for a while. Cool. But let's not forget, he beat Diego Lopes. What more does the man have to do? And the Lerone Murphy situation is even more insane. Dana White publicly said the winner of Murphy and Aaron Pico would get a title shot. Murphy did his job. He didn't just beat Pico, he slept him. And he slept him in an impressive fashion. And you turn around just to hand the shot to a guy who has already lost to Volk? This is how we're starting the year? More undeserved title shot? Diego Lopes has a puncher's chance, but that's about where it ends. Volk showed in their first fight that he's on a completely different skill level. It wasn't controversial, it wasn't close, it was Volk being Volk, levels above. So why are we doing this again? Volk isn't the issue. Volk would fight a polar bear if the UFC put a contract in front of him. He even came out publicly saying that Movsar and Murphy were more deserving, but the UFC really wanted the Diego Lopes fight. So I gotta ask, is Diego Lopes some megastar behind the scenes that we don't know about? Is there a secret fan base somewhere? Am I missing something? Because from the outside looking in, this looks like a classic case of Dana White going back on his word. And that's pretty much the theme to these fight announcements. If the UFC wanted a Diego Lopes title shot because he's the bigger draw, then promote the fighters better. Boxing does massive promotional packages, full-on campaigns, hype reels for individual fighters. Meanwhile, the UFC gives us the same formulaic countdown episodes, the same boring press conferences, the same meaningless questions like, what's the energy like here in insert city here? How does this fight make you feel? It's lazy, it's stale, it's predictable. You can't complain that certain fighters aren't big names when you're not promoting them properly. You're the damn promotion. And look, I'm not shitting on Diego Lopes. Dude is a dog. He's fun to watch. He's a great addition to the featherweight division. But let's call it what it is. He did not deserve a title shot over Movsar Evloev or Lerone Murphy. This matchmaking is ridiculous. Nobody saw this coming. Everyone thought it was between Movsar or Murphy. And I was leaning Murphy myself. Yet somehow, we ended up here. This is one of those decisions that makes fans look at Dana and say like, bro, what are we doing here? Now here's the worst part of this whole matchmaking disaster. Because Diego Lopes got the title shot. Movsar Evloev and Lerone Murphy now have no choice but to fight each other for the #1 contender spot. And that's if they don't get overlooked again. Two undefeated, deserving contenders, guys who should be fighting Volk right now, are now forced into a collision just to secure what they have already earned. And somehow, we still can't trust the UFC to actually honor the winner with a title shot. But there is one scenario where the UFC can dig themselves out of this hole. If the rumors about Volkanovski retiring are true, and if he beats Diego Lopes, which I'm sure he will, then the UFC books Movsar Evloev versus Lerone Murphy for the vacant featherweight title. That right there would redeem everything. That would reset the division the right way. That would finally reward the guys who earned their spot. But let's be honest, I don't see UFC doing that. And honestly, I don't believe the Volk retirement rumors yet, especially if he wins. He's too competitive. If he beats Diego again, he's gonna want one more big fight, one more challenge, one more name. Retiring off another repeat win doesn't feel like Volk at all. So yeah, Movsar and Murphy might be forced into a war they shouldn't even need. All because the UFC decided to pretend the rankings don't exist for a news cycle. Now for the main event of UFC 324. The fight that ruined my Thanksgiving dinner. The announcement that had me staring at my family members like they personally offended me. We are talking about none other than Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the interim lightweight title. Bro, I don't even know where to begin. Let's start by saying this. Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett was a fight I wanted, but as a regular contender fight. Not a title fight, not an interim title fight, not this circus. What should have happened, Ilia Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan for the real belt, and Gaethje versus Paddy as a fun, violent, high-stakes contender fight. But this being for an interim title, this is a slap in the face to Arman. Not just disrespect, a slap in the face. Because making this a title fight changes the entire trajectory of the division. It literally should have been Arman versus Paddy for the interim. Not Justin. Not even close. Justin Gaethje cried his way into a title opportunity. He went on camera and said, "It's either a title shot or I retire." Cool, bro. Retire then. The entire MMA community was prepared to clap and say, "Thank you for the wars, legend, because you've given us bangers." But your last two title fights weren't even close. Not competitive. Not disputed. There was a clear path to beat you, and both executed on it. There is zero justification for giving this man another title shot, besides his name, Dana liking him, and headlines over merit. And that, my friend, sets an absolutely dangerous precedent. Because now big-name fighters are going to start holding divisions hostage, sitting out and waiting for title shots they don't deserve, just like Kamaru Usman is doing right now. Remember earlier when I said Dana went back on his word twice? Yeah, this is time number 2. Dana White said clear as day that Arman versus Dan Hooker was a #1 contender fight. Arman wins, Arman dominates. Arman says he's ready to fight in January. Everything is lined up. And then suddenly, Justin Gaethje is next. Because he stomped his feet loud enough. It's pathetic. And just to be very clear, I have never been one of the people saying that Arman doesn't deserve it because of his last-minute pull against Islam Makhachev. And for those that say that, then I'll say this. Arman has already redeemed himself by making weight as a backup fighter during Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira, then accepted a fight against Dan Hooker when everyone else declined, and finished that fight. I always chalked it up to bad timing and bad luck. I've always said Arman is the true #1 contender. But now he has to take another fight and wait while Gaethje and Paddy fight for the made-up belt. It's so unfair, it's unprofessional, it's bad matchmaking, plain and simple. What was once marketed as the best fighting the best has now gone full boxing mode. Headlines over merit, names over rankings, narratives over fairness. This is literally the reason I and many others don't keep up with boxing like we do MMA. Because boxing is built around name value, not competition. And now the UFC has started doing the exact same thing. The sport that made me start a YouTube channel is sliding into the same trap. Fuck it. Justin Gaethje is the villain of the week. I swear on everything, nobody has pissed me off more than this man. Maybe Dana. But Justin ruined my Thanksgiving easily. Listen, I also hear people keep saying Paddy doesn't deserve the shot either. But honestly, I don't mind Paddy getting it. Because if you want to argue contenders, there's only 2 other names you can bring up. And those are Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway. But guess what? We all want Charles versus Max first. So Paddy getting the shot, I'm cool with it. I really am. Justin being in it is the only problem I have. Justin's resume doesn't even justify this shot. Let's run this real quick. Justin Gaethje's case for a title shot. He got slept by Max Holloway. His only other recent win is against Rafael Fiziev, who was ranked low at the time. His defense was that the Holloway fight was an exhibition. An exhibition? Brother, what? What fighter gets slept in exhibitions? Meanwhile, Max hasn't lost at lightweight since sleeping Justin. His only loss came to Ilia Topuria in a different weight class. Realistically, Max Holloway deserves this spot more than Gaethje. Facts are facts. You can call me whatever you want, but a liar is not one. Now Arman Tsarukyan, the rightful #1 contender, has to wait for Gaethje and Paddy to fight. Wait for that winner to recover. Then wait for the Ilia Topuria result. Then wait for that winner to recover. Bro, Arman may not fight for the belt until late 2026, maybe even 2027. That's insane and unacceptable. And I'm saying this with my whole chest. I believe Vince McMahon is a better businessman than Dana White. Because at least Vince, for all his insanity, can put his personal beefs aside for the sake of business. Dana White will always put his feelings above the sport. These emotions have cost us years of great fights. Paddy versus Gaethje is a good fight. I will absolutely watch it. I will absolutely enjoy it. But let's be clear, it never should have been for a title. The matchmaking is a joke. Gaethje doesn't deserve it. Arman got screwed, and Dana broke his word twice. So yeah, I will be 100% rooting for Paddy Pimblett. And after Paddy wins, Justin Gaethje can fuck off. And that's it, boys. That is the full breakdown, the good, the bad, and the absolutely brain-melting, stupid main events that is UFC 324 and 325. Some of these fights are bangers. Some of these matchups make sense, but some of them made me question why I even checked my phone on Thanksgiving. But like always, we're here for the chaos. We're here for the storylines. We're here for the fighters who actually deserve their shine, not the ones who politic their way into title shots. If you enjoyed that rant, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and drop your thoughts in the comments, because I know some of you are going to have opinions on this one. And trust me, I'll be reading every single one. Follow me on all my socials. I am the Beever MMA, and I'll catch you in the next one.